Welcome to the Neo News Today podcast. I'm your host, Dylan of Neo News Today. In episode 41 of the NNT pod, I had a chance to sit down and speak with Yuan Gao, the head of marketing for Neo Global Development. In this episode, Yuan offered an overview of the Flamingo DeFi protocol, as well as its similarities and differences from counterparts in the Ethereum ecosystem. We also talked about Neo Global Development's role in building Flamingo and the Neo Foundation's goals for the protocol moving forward. Lastly, we touched upon how users can participate in the upcoming Mint Rush and subsequent uses for the FLM token. So I hope you enjoy listening to this conversation as much as I enjoyed having it. Hey guys, what's going on? Today we are speaking with Yuan Gao, the head of marketing at Neo Global Development. We're planning on speaking about the Flamingo protocol and the initial phases, the Mint Rush, and how users can participate for this special episode of the Neo News Today podcast. So how are you doing today, Yuan?
I'm doing great. It's a long day, but thanks for having me on this podcast. I would love to share more information about Flamingo with everyone.
Yeah, I noticed that you guys have been very busy over there, so I really appreciate the time you're taking to share with the Neo News Today listeners a little bit more about Flamingo and what's happening. So to jump right into this, can you just, in your words, describe what is Flamingo and what other platforms did you and the team study to get to this point?
Sure. So as we will display on the website, on the Flamingo.finance website, so in my understanding, Flamingo is a full stack DeFi protocol that's integrating the interoperability as an integral part of the project. So the purpose of having Flamingo is we want to provide a basic set of very important DeFi infrastructures and having them on Neo, so that we can bootstrap the whole DeFi ecosystem on Neo. Because as you probably know, composability is an important part of DeFi. So if there's just one protocol, then it's very hard for people to execute some very sophisticated logics and applications. That's why we create this set of components. So when they work together, they can provide some very basic functions. And after we have Flamingo, we want and we encourage all the developers to join the game. They can build on Flamingo, or they can build some protocols that can interact with Flamingo, so that there's some more sophisticated applications can be achieved in that way. So we just want to bootstrap the whole thing.
Very cool.
Using Flamingo.
And if we could just like really quickly, if we're going to relate what Flamingo offers to what's available in the Ethereum ecosystem, what projects would you relate Flamingo to, and like what components are similar to what's happening in Ethereum right now?
Got it. So there are several major components in Flamingo. So the first thing is Wrapper. It's essentially multi-chain asset gateways. So I think this is very a very novel thing because there are some centralized solutions on Ethereum and other networks to pour BTC onto Ethereum network. But there's nothing like this before. So we can pour multiple assets from multiple chains to Neo in a very frictionless way. So I think that's a very original idea. And the other components, the one of the most important one is AMM, Auto Market Maker. So of course we were definitely inspired by Uniswap. I think it's a very elegant ways to provide on-chain liquidity on Neo. We have some our improvements and optimizations, and because Neo and Ethereum are using different virtual machines, so we did everything from the very start, and build up everything from scratch. So that's the second part. And also, so there's stable coin, there's perpetual swap. I think more or less we are inspired by some of the projects in Ethereum, such as MakerDAO, Synthetics. But like it's different. Like you cannot compare them very directly. So we kind of combine all those features and some of the way they to achieve this, but not exactly following one specific protocol. We extract idea and advantages from different protocols to build up our own architecture. So yeah, that's how at the very beginning what we thought.
And you mentioned that you're taking some of the different aspects from the Ethereum ecosystem and then adding a Neo element. So something that was announced last week was Flamincome, which is going to be an interoperable sort of module that can interact with Flamingo, but also is built on top of the Ethereum network. And of course, Flamincome is tentatively launching on Wednesday, September 23rd, along with the Mint Rush. So could you just, in your own words, describe what Flamincome is and maybe even the basics, like what network it operates on top of?
Sure. So I think for DeFi, one of the most important thing is assets. So we need abundant amount of assets, not just in quantity, but also in the diversity part. So to attract assets to Neo, one of the most important thing is that because there are so many yield generating protocols on Ethereum already. So people will be reluctant to come into Neo because they already can generate some yield on Ethereum. So in a very short way to describe how Flamincome works is that so we want people to enjoy and harvest the yield on Ethereum, but at the same time, people can still migrate their assets to Neo to participate in DeFi on Neo. So that's the idea. So there are two components in Flamincome. So first is the yield aggregator. Sorry. So it's more or less very similar to some already existing yield aggregator protocols on Ethereum, such as YFI, YF2, and some other projects. But on top of that, we also have some novelties because in YFI's case, you put in the original assets, for example, USDT. Then you get yield generating assets such as YUSDT. But YUSDT is a yield, as I mentioned, is a yield generating assets. So in the long run, the value of that yield generating asset is going to be higher than the original assets as time goes. So we cannot use it as a stable coin anymore. And it's not pegged to the original asset. So that's why we figure out this normalizer components. So it's kind of like a rebase mechanism, but different, but we execute it differently. So when at the very beginning you convert the asset into the yield generating assets, you can convert that into the normalized asset with the same amount. But as the yield generating asset is appreciating, as you getting yield from other yield generating protocols is appreciating, then you can mint more normalized assets that is pegged to the original assets. So in that case, the normalized asset is actually one-to-one pegged to the original assets. So in this case, stablecoin is still going to be stablecoin. So that we can migrate those normalized assets to Neo to be used as a stablecoin. So after I explain these two components, to make it very easy to understand, so people can harvest the optimized yield on Ethereum, and then secondly, people can come to Neo without opportunity cost, so that they can generating yields on the two chains simultaneously. So that's some very novel ideas, has never been achieved before. And yeah, we think it's a very exciting idea.
Yeah, I agree. Flamincome is going to create a gateway for Ethereum users to stake their assets and receive rewards on both Ethereum and Neo via Flamingo. So we're going to be having a mint rush coming up this week. But before we discuss that, I do just kind of want to get your insights as to a little bit more about Neo Global Development and Neo Foundation's role in Flamingo. So, I mean, can we start from who designed and developed Flamingo to what does Neo Foundation plan on? What's Neo Foundation's role in Flamingo moving forward?
Sure. Yeah. So actually, at the very beginning, it's just a bunch of guys at NGD. So we talk about what we can do to help Neo to grow the DeFi ecosystem. So gradually, it becomes very serious because some idea is forming, and we actually after a while we actually build up this initial architecture. The major components, how we can achieve this. So we talk about this with Hongfei and also other community members to see if that was something we can do. And I think both Hongfei and Eric support the idea. And the reason why NGD is doing this is because we are building like all those protocols simultaneously. And we want to make the infrastructure very robust and well tested, and each components can be working with each other in a frictionless way. So that's why NGD decided to take on the responsibility to start the initial development. But I think in the future, because it's still an open source project, in the future, like we want to involve more and more community members, even at someday, because eventually the project is going to be governed by DAO, and not just NGD, but also I think community Neo holders, FM holders can all be part of this project. So that's the initial thought and how we implement Flamingo at the very beginning. And yeah, and I think Foundation is also very supportive when we try to develop Flamingo. There's a lot of developers from NGD joining us to help up with the project.
So we're going to discuss the Mint Rush here in a moment because I want users to understand a little bit more about what it is and how they can participate. But there have been a lot of questions from the community and maybe even a little bit of concern that the Neo Foundation or Neo Global Development is going to be staking all of their reserved Neo that's used to build the community, to fund development and things of this nature. There's just been some concern because maybe there hasn't been complete clarification as to what Neo Foundation's role is going to be for putting forward some of its Neo for minting FLM and participating in future governance processes. So to kind of get ahead of that concern, could you just share a little bit of information about what the Neo Global Development or Neo Foundation's role is with staking its current Neo holdings, or just what is its plans for the FLM that Neo is going to mint?
Sure. I think that's definitely a valid concern. But firstly, to answer your question, so first, Foundation wouldn't stake all the Neos into this project. It's just too much. And secondly, I think Neo Foundations is definitely going to stake a very small portion of their tokens into the initial Mint Rush phase for several reasons. So first, I think the foundation and NGD want to have a minority influence in the future governance of Flamingo. So I think that's one of the major reasons that why foundation want to participate. And secondly, so when the swap launches at the end of this month, there need to be some party to bootstrap the liquidity pools on swap. So foundations is going to take on that role. That's why they also will also need to have some Flamingo to participate. But like it actually makes no sense for the foundations to take most of the FLM because it's a DeFi project. It won't work that way. If one party is taking all the majority stake of that the token, it's just not gonna work. So I think the foundation is going to just have a very minority share in the Mint Rush. And I think in the later phase, as more of the components kick in, such as swap, stablecoin minting, I think foundation's share is going to be diluted more and more during that phase. So I think community members shouldn't worry too much about that part.
Very cool. So kind of jumping into the Mint Rush, what is it? When can users start participating, and what assets will be able to be used for the Mint Rush?
Sure. I think the Mint Rush will be starting on September 25th, UTC 13 o'clock, if I remember correctly. I think the asset can be staked during the Mint Rush. There are three major kind of assets. First is the native assets on Neo. That's the Neo token. And secondly, we also support ontology because we have wrapper. We can migrate assets to Neo network. So Neo will take 50% of the FLM pool, and ontology will take 5%. And so the remaining part should be coming from Ethereum. So we are actually supporting some major assets on Ethereum network right now. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, and also the stablecoin USDT. That's the tokens we are supporting at the very beginning. And also there is 2.5% of Uniswap LP token WBTC to ETH to Neo. Because we feel like Uniswap is such a big community, and the LP token of WBTC and ETH is going to be a major token pair on Uniswap. So we also want to support that. And there are still 70.5% of FLM token is still not allocated. So the team is still thinking like what will be the proper tokens that can participate. But all those information will be released one day before the Mint Rush actually started.
And there's going to be a tutorial that Neo Global Development is releasing for how to participate, right?
Yeah, actually, I think at the time we speak, the user guide is already released in the document part of Flamingo Finance website. So you guys can check out.
Very cool.
And also you guys can see the UI for Flamingo and components.
Will the FLM token be divisible?
Yeah, of course. Because for any token on swap, it has to be divisible. Otherwise, you cannot use it on swap. And for that reason, we actually wrap Neo into an Neo token, an NEP5 token, so that Neo can be interact with smart contract, also divisible, and can be used on swap. But people can always revert Neo back to Neo if they want the original token.
So the Mint Rush begins on the 25th, and let's say users stake various assets. How and when will they be able to claim their FLM tokens?
I think the rough estimate is 28th. So we're still tweaking the configuration as we speak. As I mentioned just now, like the most accurate information will be released 1 day before the Mint Rush actually started. But the estimated date should be 28th. People can start to claim FLM at that time.
And that's another question I've received in the community. Is this like an airdrop, or will users actually have to manually claim the FLM themselves?
They have to manually claim the FLM themselves because they already have assets stake in Flamingo. Mm-hmm. And on the same UI where they stake assets, they can claim FLM. It's very straightforward.
Will there be a lockup period or a certain amount of time that users have to stake in order to receive FLM?
No, actually, so there's no minimum amount, no cap, no locking period. People can join anytime and go anytime, unstake their assets if they see fit.
So for users who will be receiving FLM, will there be a certain time when a snapshot is taken for the amount of tokens they've staked for the amount of FLM they'll receive?
Thanks for the question. Well, that's a very technical question. I'm not the most tech savvy person, but I'll try to explain in my own understanding. So first, there will be no snapshot taken because the pool of assets stake is always changing. So the amount of FLM you will get is calculated block by block. And that's associated with your own address. So after the FLM claim started, you can claim all the FLM as you see fit. So that's the way it works.
Awesome. So kind of wrapping up a little bit, when the Mint Rush begins on the 25th, what wallets can participants use in order to stake various assets to claim FLM?
Actually, there are two parts, right? Because there's Flamingo and also the Flamincome part. Because Flamincome is actually on Ethereum, so now we support MetaMask so that people can interact with a smart contract. And also for ontology, we support Ciano. It's one of their plugin wallets. For the Neo side, for Flamingo, now we support Neoline. So we have been working with Neoline team to optimize the experience for the Flamingo Mint Rush. So that would be the easiest choice that people can choose from. And also, we're working with O3 and also with On2 and several other projects, wallets to make it happen. But we're not sure, but Neoline is the one is already working right now. So we'll try to make it happen by 25th.
Very cool. And just kind of broad picture, once I've minted and gained my FLM, what will I be able to do with the token?
So I think so first, if you have FLM, you can enter the second phase to provide liquidity of FLM in swap. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is you can participate in governance later on, because at the very beginning, we take this POA kind of transition phase. But in the future, the FLM holders can actually participate in the governance of Flamingo and receive rewards in the future. And also, when you participate in the liquidity provision using FLM and also other LP tokens, you will also, when you stake that LP tokens, you can get some more FLM rewards. So actually, it's a evolving process that FLM will be given more capacity phase by phase in the future.
Well, you guys are very busy over there, building out these modules and protocols and having them audited by third-party teams. So I want to thank you so much, Yuan, for taking the time to just share a little bit more information about Flamincome, Flamingo, how users can participate, and just giving us a little bit of your time from your very busy schedule. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we can have you back on the podcast sometime in the near future to discuss the next modules about Flamingo as we get closer to them.
Sure, I'm happy to anytime. And one more thing I want to talk about. So the protocol seems to be very complicated right now, because we have been discussing about the protocol, so the rationale, the how to interact, and different steps about Flamingo. So first thing is DeFi is actually quite complicated, not just for Neo, but also for other DeFi projects on Ethereum and other network. It takes time to understand. We want to provide users with the best experience as much as possible now. So actually, it's much easier than some of the protocols because everything is in one place. So you don't need to jump from one website to another to complete a series of executions and applications. So everything is here. And in the future, we will try to make better, to make it even more easier. But that's an ongoing process. So thanks for bearing with us. I know it's quite difficult. So thank you guys for participate and discuss.
Well, I know that I'm very excited for the next steps, and I know that the Neo community is, and that Flamingo has made a buzz in the blockchain world in general. So keep up the great work, and we'll catch up with you next time.
Yeah, thank you, Dylan. Have a nice day.
Cheers. Well, what did you think of that conversation? It was great to hear Yuan address community concerns and point out that Neo Foundation does not plan on staking all of its Neo on the Flamingo protocol. Rather, that they aim to have a small role in the governance moving forward, but mostly they aim to provide liquidity for the platform. Currently, there is a step-by-step guide available on the Flamingo Finance website for staking assets and how to mint FLM. Also, be sure to keep an eye out for more information about the Mint Rush the day before it is scheduled to occur on September 25th. To keep up to date with the latest news in the Neo ecosystem, visit www.neonewstoday.com. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channels on YouTube, Apple iTunes, and or Spotify, and leave a 5-star review if you feel that others should hear our content. Every subscription and review helps others learn more about the Neo News Today podcast and the Neo ecosystem. So, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to the Neo News Today podcast, and we look forward to catching you next time.